Hello, friends, and welcome back to Shrinking Podcast, where we shrink those mountains in our life. I'm your host, Erin Shrinking, and friends, I am so excited about today's podcast topic. All throughout the summer, I'm going to be bringing you guys just really practical topics that I think are going to help maybe make you see things from a different point of view, or just dive a little deeper in thinking about your own health and wellness journey. So today's podcast topic, we're going to be talking about stress and weight loss. I get asked all the time as a coach, does stress really affect my weight loss? Does stress really affect the things I'm doing for myself? Because I'm working really hard at all these skills and working on myself, and I'm going to the gym and I'm eating well and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I get asked, does stress affect the weight loss journey? What do you guys think? It absolutely does. Stress affects every aspect of our life. Let's start with that first truth right there. Stress affects every aspect of our life, especially chronic and consistent stress in your life. When you find yourself just consistently in that stress, in that fight or flight, in that survival mode, man, it is very damaging to you there. That is a very, very, very hard place to live in and thrive in. So we need to bring ourselves out of it. So one of the reasons that I want to coach on this and actually bring it in a podcast session and not just for the tribe is because I really think a lot of us need to hear this that are out in the world right now. And I'm speaking to myself as well, because honestly, just speaking from personal and taking complete accountability here, sometimes I can be really, really bad at managing my stress. And sometimes I will see that affect my health. And as a coach, I see it in others as well. So I know it's not just us. So my hope and my point of all this is to encourage you. If you are one who has a lot of stress in your life, I want to encourage you that you can overcome that. You can work on those things and you can still meet your goals as you work in and out of the seasons of your life, right? So guys, I want to go ahead and dive right in to today's session, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about stress. There's a lot of things out there that can really just stress us out. There's a lot of situations in our life that can come along, right? Death in the family, financial issues, illness, all these things, losing your job, going through a divorce, you're struggling with something with your children, trying to have children, all these things. Think of your own life and all the things in your life that bring you stress. How often have you used that stress as a reason to not take care of yourself, or as a reason to not do the things that you need to do because you're so busy and you're so overwhelmed and you're so stressed? Of course, we're going to have a hard time meeting goals for ourselves when we are so overwhelmed and stressed out in our lives. We have to do something about it. And here's where the accountability comes in. No one can do anything about it except us, right? So if we find ourselves stressed, we have to do something about it. We have to develop in some things. We've got to use some new tools, maybe learn some new tools, maybe read some books, maybe grow in some areas of our life, but there is hope in it. And I never want anyone to feel like they're in a hopeless situation where things are just too far gone to do anything about. That's not true. And I can tell you right now, at 402 pounds, I felt very much like I was in a hopeless situation and that there was nothing that I could do that would change my life. I felt absolutely hopeless. I lived most of my journey out completely stressed out, friends, not knowing really what I was doing, just trying my best, stressed out, overwhelmed, scale drama, all the things. I've got little kids, I got a business. Man, the stress can happen. And I watched it affect my journey. I watched it more than just my weight loss journey. I watched it affect my mental health and my body, my physical body, because don't you know that stress is held not just in your mind, but in your body as well. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that today. So truth, your body doesn't have a clue when a stressful situation will end. So to prepare, it saves energy by not burning as many calories. The people that are asking, does stress affect my weight loss journey? I'm going to answer you right now with this. When your body is stressed, it doesn't know when that stressor is going to end, right? To prepare, it saves the energy by not burning as many calories. So when you're stressed out, your body is literally kind of like frozen. not burning the calories that it usually does because you're so stressed. Think about that in your own journey right now. If you're super duper stressed out and you're trying to lose weight and, get healthier, work on your stuff, your body might be fighting against you a little bit for what it's doing. Isn't that frustrating? We have to meet it there. We have to meet it there and combat that. This leads to weight gain, especially if part of your comfort and coping or soothing is food related. So yes, I'm going to answer the question right now. Does stress mess with your weight loss journey? The answer from someone who's lost 250 pounds and helped other people and really pays attention to some of these things and the data in it and the research. The answer is yes. Stress 100% directly affects your life, let alone your weight loss journey. It will plummet you into a pit of no progress if you will let it. And there's so much freedom in what I'm getting ready to say. It's in your control if you let it or not. It is in your control, right? So consistent chronic low or high grade type of stress can wreak havoc on our emotional, our physical, and our spiritual health. Stress leads to anxiety, depression, sleep issues, hypertension, high blood pressure, weight gain, weight issues, and makes us more vulnerable to disease and illness. Stress makes us more vulnerable to disease and illness, and also plays a huge part in all of these other myriad of things that can go wrong, right? And I know you know it. You've got someone in your life that's probably had a heart attack or heart issues or other things in their life because of stress related, right? I know people who've had just things pop up in their body because of stress, ulcers and things like that of their body. Your body's holding that. And it's really important, guys, that you are aware your body is keeping the score of all the things that's being done to it, especially that stress and the stress level that you might be consistently living in. If you need a good book to read, Your Body Holds the Score is a great book to read. And it'll talk even more about this kind of things and how our bodies really do hold trauma and hold stress and hold things. And it can really affect us. It really can, right? It really can. So why does stress affect our weight loss? And I don't even want to talk too much about weight loss, but that's the question I get asked. But when we're going through this podcast episode, I want you to see it as more than just weight loss. See it as your overall health and wellness journey, right? Because yes, it's going to affect your weight loss and the numbers on the scale, but on the complete other side of that, guys, stress can also make you lose weight in a really unhealthy way. Like, just saying, speaking from experience, when you are super stressed out or you got a lot going on, usually we tend to not eat or skip meals or forget to eat and things like that, which can cause that. Usually, though, it'll end up in a cycle of a binge or things like that, and you're making up those calories. But sometimes you'll lose weight when you're super stressed. I don't wish this, but you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, that'd been nice. No, that didn't happen to me. I went the other way. Chronic stress on me stole from me in so many different ways. So why does stress affect our weight? Number one, stress leads to stress eating. This is the number one reason, friends. Stress leads to stress eating. We, honestly, as a culture, we use food. We can use food. I don't want to put any definitive statements on everybody. Listen up though. But we tend to be a little bit more flexible in using food to fill voids in our life, to soothe us, to comfort us, to celebrate, right? You got all A's, let's go out for ice cream. You did this, let's go celebrate with dinner. You got this, let's go out for drinks. We tend to gravitate towards those things. So when we're stressed and when we're down in the dumps and maybe feeling a little out of control of ourselves, we might tend to step into some self-sabotaging behaviors with our stress because that's the way we've always soothed, or that's the way that we've been brought up to soothe, or that's the way that, here's the accountability part, we're allowing to continue ourselves to soothe. Know better, do better. I had to go through this too, guys. It's no fun. Using food to soothe your issues, using food to celebrate your wins, using food for anything other than just general enjoyment and fueling your body and nurturing your body for its daily movement. It doesn't need to happen. Food is fuel for you. Food is to get your body to do its body things, right? Nutrition, friends, your macronutrients. Be good friends with your macronutrients. Know what your body needs. The stress eating, listen, it's a thing, and usually it's a habit we've built up. And I want to encourage you that if it's a habit that you've built up, it can be a habit that you tear down and that you deconstruct. But a lot of times the weight gain is happening because we are overeating some comfort foods. We're leaning on food during those times, or we might be abusing it even a little bit. Maybe not giving ourselves enough, giving ourselves too much, or giving ourselves too much of the really, really wrong things when really we need some good nutrition when we're really stressed. And that's the truth. The more stressed you are, the better you should feed yourself. The better you should show up for yourself in your nutrition, because you already got enough going on. So meet yourself with kindness and feed yourself well so that you can be your best self and feel your best while you're dealing with the stressful situation. Because make no mistake, life is going to continue to happen the rest of our days. Life is going to continue to happen. Stressful situations are going to continue to arise in your life, but you have to be really good at controlling your thermostat when life happens in that stress, right? Because we don't want something to give out. We don't want our hearts to flip out. We don't want our bodies to break down. We don't want our minds to break down. We don't want to sabotage ourselves because we're trying to keep ourselves safe because we feel out of control of something. We don't want that. And here's the truth, guys. It doesn't have to be like that. And it doesn't have to be you changing everything about your life right now either to make it work. You start where you are and you work from there with your stress. So stress leads to stress eating was my number one point. Number two, this is the duh one. Anyone in here knows about anything about hormones? This is the duh one. But stress makes our body produce more cortisol. Duh, Aaron. It does! It makes our body produce more cortisol. If you don't know, cortisol is a stress hormone that promotes body fat, especially visceral body fat. Visceral body fat is our belly fat. This is the most dangerous fat to have, friends, because it is around your organs. It is fat around your organs, right? Fat, disease, all those things kind of go hand in hand sometimes. This is why I am so pro helping people get healthy. It's not helping people get skinny. It's not helping people get this, that, and the other. It's helping people get healthy, getting the most amount of damaging tissue off their body so that they have a higher or less chance of getting disease or things like that in their life. And don't hear me saying anything not body positive, none of that. My heart is to help you. And the truth is, visceral fat is dangerous. Belly fat is dangerous for you. And I love you too much to not tell you that. I wish someone would have gotten my face a little bit in my journey when I was abusing myself with food and said, you're better than this, Erin. What you're doing to yourself is abuse and you need to stop it. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but that was me. And there was many people that witnessed this. And I'm not putting anything on anybody, but I'm going to hold you accountable because I wish I was. If you're making choices for yourself that are going to harm you, we've got to improve in our better choices, right? We don't want to hurt ourselves. We don't want to cause more issues for ourselves. And excess fat on our bodies makes us more likely to develop some kind of disease and illness. And I don't want to see that happen to any single person on this planet. I don't want to see that. And my encouragement is to take control of your health while it's in your hands to take control of, especially your mental health. Your stress is directly related to your mental health. Make sure you're showing up for yourself in that, right? What do you need in that if you're struggling, right? And some of you might not be, and that's okay. Like, yay for you. I love that for you. But there's a lot of people out there having a really hard time with their stress and managing their life and trying to get it all done and feel like they're not failing and everything. And it's stressful, right? It's stressful meeting goals. It's stressful out there doing the things. It's stressful doing your career and raising your families and the things that you're involved in. It can be very stressful, yes. But we get to learn and we get to develop and we get to work on our skills so that the life around us that we're building doesn't stress us out, right? Because here's the truth, friends. Your life that you are building shouldn't be extremely overwhelming and stressful for you. Why? Because it's your job to build it and what you want. It's your job to say how much of what. It's your job to say what you're going to allow and what you're going to reject. It's your job to say who gets your time and energy and who doesn't, or what gets your time and energy and what doesn't. And it's important for you to play this role well as the steward of your own life, making sure that what is in there and what you're spending your time doing and who you're spending your time with and what you're allowing to penetrate your mind, right? Is things that are not going to cause you to have excess stress. We don't need those things. We don't. We need more peace. We need more peace. So, rabbit trail. Sorry, not sorry, I don't know. But hear my heart here. I'm not body shaming anybody on this point. I'm just telling you the truth. Visceral fat, and I had to go through this myself. This is one of the big things I held on to on my weight loss journey, is that my belly fat's dangerous and I need to decrease it as much as I can to give myself the best, put my best foot forward. And that's kind of how I looked at it. It wasn't about what size I can get into or what the weight was. It was literally just about getting as much off as I could, right? And I encourage you, if you have a journey like this that you're on or doing, see it as that. I'm just promoting my health. I don't have to take a bunch of things away from me. I'm just promoting my health. So the cortisol, you guys, it's that stress hormone that is produced while we are stressed out, and it promotes the body fat, visceral fat. It surrounds our organs, and it releases fatty acids into our blood. Awesome sauce. No, it increases cortisol. I'm so sorry. It increases cholesterol. I've got cortisol and cholesterol written right next to each other. Oh my goodness. Let me start right here. It releases fatty acids into the blood. It increases cholesterol and insulin levels and paves the way to heart disease, diabetes, and other illnesses. This is the excess cortisol just constantly pumping in because we're stressed out. Hot mess express coming through. Cortisol, choo-choo, here it comes. Storing body fat and just promoting higher cholesterol, all the things. So fun. No. What can we do about this? We're going to talk about it. Number 3, stress messes with our sleep. You guys, sleep is so underrated, and I get it because it's not sexy and it's not like, ooh, it's something fun. No, sleep is so underrated. Your sleep is just as important to your journey, to your health, as your movement. No joke. You need to rest. You need that restoration time, that restore time. Give your cells time to restore, dang it. But stress messes with our sleep. Did you know that decreased sleep and chronic fatigue causes the hormone ghrelin? It's spelled Ghrelin if you want to look it up. It causes that hormone ghrelin. This is the primary hunger hormone for those who don't know what ghrelin is. And hopefully I'm saying it right. I've never really looked up how to say it. I've always said ghrelin. But it's that primary hunger hormone that lets us know we're hungry. When we are stressed and we are not sleeping, this decreases our decreased sleep and chronic fatigue causes the hormone ghrelin to increase. This is our primary hunger hormones, and it causes us to feel hungry even when we're not. So when we're stressed out, our body and the hormones that it's producing between the cortisol and the ghrelin and all the fun things is making us feel like we're hungry, that we need to eat. So it's lying to us. And it's so crazy because it's almost like, why is our body out to get us a little bit here? Like, why is it really, it's protecting you. Spoiler alert, your body's protecting you. And it's just the way our bodies are. Bodies are created to be able to go into the fight and flight, to be able to go and, you know what I mean? Like, it's just part of it. But it messes up our sleep, which causes a big disruption in our hormones. Right? Especially the one that makes us think that we're hungry. That's a big one, right? That's a big one. Can you imagine we're stressed out and our body's lying to us, telling us that we're starving? It's not. We're not. We know we're not. But we'll give into it because all the other things are lying to us too. Number 4, stress messes up our routine. This is so true. It gets us out of our routine. It keeps us in there. Sometimes we throw ourselves into a pity pit. Sometimes, it just messes with our routine. We're off our eating schedule. We make more erratic choices when we're stressed. This is truth, friends. We make more erratic choices when we're stressed, or less inhibitious choices of like, I'm going to eat this when I normally wouldn't, or I'm going to drink this when I normally wouldn't, or I'm going to do this when I normally wouldn't, because we're not like operating our best self. We're stressed. All this stuff is going on in our bodies. So it makes us make more erratic choices. Sometimes we'll go hours without eating. It plays havoc on our metabolism when we do this, by the way. Go hours without eating when we're super stressed out and we're skipping meals intentionally, or we're skipping meals and just not eating. You're not fueling yourself. Your brain is already going through so much and we're not feeding it anything. Do you know that your brain needs fat? Do you know that your body needs fat, protein, and carbohydrates? Are you aware of that? Do you know that there's a reason why we need the foods that we need to make our body do its body things? When you deprive it of that and you're stressed and add that chronic stuff on there, y'all, we got to meet ourselves where we are here. Feed yourself well when you're stressed. Be a really good mama to yourself. Some of us need to just be a really good mama to ourselves and be like, you know what? I know you're stressed out. Like you're talking your daughter through a breakup or something, or your son through a breakup. I know you're really stressed out, honey, and I know you feel like absolute garbage right now, but you need to eat something. Do that for yourself. Meet yourself in those places and be an advocate for yourself when you're stressed out. That you're not skipping your meals, you're not starving yourself, you're not stressing yourself out, but you're not giving yourself too much, right? But not eating for hours plays havoc on our metabolism when we're stressed, and it plays havoc on our body because it doesn't know when the next calories will come. So the body will even hold fat as a source of energy during this time. So not only is our body telling us that we're starving when we're not only is our body dumping more cortisol into our bloodstream, not only is it putting more of the fatty acids into our blood, which is going to lift up our cholesterol, not only are we stress eating and all the things, but also it's going to hold the fat as a source of energy. So it won't even let us burn it. It is holding. This is why I say so much in coaching. It's really counterintuitive and counteractive to be trying to release things off your body while holding things, and the importance of releasing as often as possible. And that looks like forgiveness and letting go and things like that, even for yourself. But your body will literally start going against you when you're living in this consistent state like this, to where, and this is the answer, why you're not losing, why you're not seeing the results that you want when you're stressed. You're stressed out. Your body's literally just doing the best it can. You are in survival mode, friend. That's what's happening. I've been there. I know many others that have been there. You can get out of it for sure, but that's what's happening. When you're aware of that, we can do something about it. You're in survival mode. So your body doesn't know when the next calories are coming from. It holds the fat. So awesome. Thanks so much, body. You could let it go. I mean, come on, do me a favor. It's not going to. This is why you hear the words, your body's in starvation mode, it's holding and stuff like that. We don't want this, first of all. You don't want to lose your weight by starving yourself. You don't want to get that way from stress either. But make sure you're being a good advocate for yourself in your mental health journey and in your stress when you're on this, because it can easily creep in and you can go from one side of the spectrum to overeating everything when you're stressed to not eating anything when you're stressed. And you have to be really intentional with yourself. That's why I am a big advocate of planning your day, saying what am I going to do today? What can I do with the capacity that I have today? What can I eat? How can I move? How much water can I drink? And how can I show up for myself in my mental health? It is the best thing that I've found for my mental health is intentionally planning for myself. So I'm not leaving it up to my emotions. I'm leaving it up to the person at my best self, planning for myself, knowing what I can get done today, what I can consume today, and things like that. But just know that your body can work against you a little bit, and it's really important to not fight your body. We have to meet it where it is and remind it that it's okay and it's safe, right? Number 5, stress messes with the prefrontal cortex. A lot of you guys might not know what this is, but this is the part of the brain that we need to be functioning correctly, excuse me, friends, in order to even stick with our plan. Okay, this is the planning for yourself, the meal prep, making good decisions, your discipline, your self-inhibitions, your emotional reactions. All of this is in that prefrontal cortex. So when you are stressed, it messes and jacks that up. So here you go, you're super stressed out. No wonder you can't make a plan. No wonder you sit there staring at your book like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Well, or someone asks you what you want for dinner, you just sit there like, I don't know. You're messing with your prefrontal cortex. Your body is stressed out. Though, oh my gosh, and especially if you've burnt out with stress, you can't make any more decisions. How many times do you come home and you're like, I don't want to make one more decision? I get it. That is stress. It's messing with that. Call it out and just recognize what it is. There's nothing wrong with you, that you're stressed out. And we need to get really good at managing that. And most importantly, developing ourselves so that we can either handle more in a different capacity or make choices for ourselves to stop the crap in our life that's stressing us out so much. Or not stop, but you know what I mean, decrease and increase the things that bring us peace. But stress messes with the prefrontal cortex, and it's a part of the brain we need to be functioning correctly in order to even stick with our plan. It's responsible for planning for yourself, meal prepping, making your good choices, your discipline, and all of your emotional reactions. If your prefrontal cortex is decreased, it leads to us making poor choices for ourselves, many times with food, especially if you are one that uses food as a coping or soothing mechanism. So you can see how all of this, guys, it just goes hand in hand with each other. This is what stress does to us. Okay, so helping yourself through stress by doing these things. Help yourself through stress by doing these things. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to talk and use my notes. I usually just get on here and talk, but I'm trying to be more professional. Obviously, here I am talking about it in the middle of this podcast. I don't care. But that's why I'm talking all over myself. But here's how to help yourself through stress if you're going through it. Here's some of my tips, guys. Number 1, move daily. And don't put a big old duh on this, and don't be like, well, okay, thanks, Erin, move my body daily. I want to tell you why, okay? Because anybody can say, go on a walk, or go get some exercise, or go do this, and it'll make you feel better. I actually want to tell you why, okay? When you move daily, all that crap you're doing when you're stressed out, and this is for all of you who live in chronic stress or consistent stress in your life, or you feel like a hot mess express, okay? Been there, done that, got it, yep, sometimes still. So I'll talk to myself too. Move daily. It is so important that you are going on daily walks. You are getting some steps in, any kind of movement. Why? It circulates your blood more quickly, and it takes all of that cortisol that is to the kidneys and then out of your system. Your movement is going to be one of the best tools for you to combat the crap that's going on with your hormones while you're stressed. Moving your body helps it pump that blood, filters that blood out to the kidneys. Out you go, cortisol. See you later, brother. It also releases all the feel-good hormones when we're moving. If we can release the bad ones, and it can control us, dang it, how about we use our power in our body to control the good ones to overcome the bad ones? So moving your body is also a step in your mind of taking back control of your present state. And when you're present with yourself, you'll always have more peace. Because why? Because some philosopher said this, and I've been hanging on to it. If we're in the past, depressed. Future, anxious. Present, peaceful. Right? So we're in the present. Move daily, circulate your blood more quickly, takes all the cortisol to the kidneys, out the system. Good for you. This is what we want. So move daily. If you've not been doing your walks and blaming the fall and winter because of it, it is time, my friends, to get your little tushies out there walking around again, getting that blood circulating, getting your body repairing cells, getting that sleep in, all that good stuff. Number 2, my tips. Excuse me. Slow the heck down. Slow the heck down. You might need to go into a season of really evaluating what your top priorities need to be in this next season of your life. Because if you are finding yourself consistently stressed and overwhelmed, there's a reason. And it either needs to come from you really looking at your schedule and the things that you're having yourself do. And is this fair? Are these expectations fair? Am I overwhelming myself? Or do I need to develop in my capacity to handle stress more? Now, there's probably more options, but those are going to be the ones I'm going to point out. We've either overwhelmed ourselves or we have not developed ourselves. I'm gonna say what I said. So you find yourself this way, there's so much self-development that can be done. So much work that can be done for being able to handle more stress. So many tools that can be done. If you're one that's struggling in this area, please reach out. I've got some amazing tools that I can help you with in group coaching, one-on-one coaching, whatever. But you guys, we have to develop our tools. If we're finding ourselves consistently in a similar place or in the same place, we have to do something about it. So it's either because what's going on in your life is too much, or we need to work on some self-development to help us handle it better. And that's nothing shameful. I don't want you to pick up any shame or anything like that from this comment. I'm just being honest with you. I've had to do it many, many, many times in my life throughout my journey of, okay, nope, I've got to get better in this skill because I can't use this as an excuse. I can't use it as an excuse anymore. I have to get better in it to have breakthrough in it, right? And that's on me. That's on me. So slow the heck down. Slow down in life to combat the stress, but also slow down while eating. Slow down while you're eating. Cortisol levels drop when we slow down at meal times. When you are slowing down and actually sitting with your meal without the TV and without the phone and without all the distractions, and you're actually making a connection to the fact that you are eating, right? This will help decrease the cortisol levels, and it'll help, honestly, it helps increase your ability to be present with yourself at mealtime, which can be very helpful for yourself and your relationship with your food. But it also helps with those hormones. It helps you to sit still and be present while you're consuming your food. Your body and your mind, your stomach and your mind, there's a hormone that goes back and forth, that hunger hormone, right? And it's communicating with itself, and you're actually able to pay attention to it more when you're present at mealtime, right? So slow down. Slow down in life a little bit if you need to, and maybe slow down while you're eating, okay? Number 3, check your stimulants. Check your stimulants. Coffee. And I hate saying this so much. Gosh, I hate it because I love coffee. I love coffee, but I also struggle and fight anxiety in my life, and we know better. We have to do better, right? Coffee can be one of the worst things that, I hate saying this. Oh, it's so mean. It can be one of the worst things for us if we're stressed. And of course, we're sucking it down like it's water, trying to stay, energized and all the things, but it can be the worst for us, right? So coffee is actually an anxiogenic, which means it can make us feel anxious or contribute to our anxiousness and our stress. This is just something to know, okay? It took me 4 months of actually researching this to start even trying to decrease my caffeine consumption. However, we know better, we do better. And if something is going to help some symptoms I'm having in my life, then it's up to me to try those things out and be okay with it, right? So coffee and all those other stimulants that you might be playing with, those energy drinks, I hate to say this, you guys, but those pre-workouts that all of you guys are messing with and dry scooping that your God knows what you're doing to your throats and your teeth, and I don't even want to know. All those pre-workouts, and I don't want to say all of them, however, they got caffeine in them. They make your heart race. I'm telling you right now, it can be contributing to your anxiety and your stress level. So we may even be feeding ourselves things that are making us and adding to our stress level. And that stinks, right? But we can only do what we can do. So I went from 2 cups to 1.5. That's where I got right now. Meet myself where I am. Cool. Caffeine can raise cortisol more than stress can. And I've researched this, guys. I've researched this till I'm blue in the face. Coffee can raises cortisol more than stress can. Do the research yourself. Just look up any study at all, and you will find this to be true. More than anything else, coffee will raise it, and the percentages are insane. So if stress is part of your journey, remember these truths for sure, okay? Things are going to happen. We'll have seasons where stress may be higher, but be kind to yourself and navigate the stress and emotions. Do your best to show up for yourself when you're feeling this way. And remember that your body, mind, and hormones are doing some funky things when they're stressed, right? They really are. Here's some things that you can actually do. Practical things you can do. Number one, develop in your ability to manage stress. Develop yourself in your ability to be able to handle more, or have some tools on things you can do when you get overwhelmed or get stressed, right? But we can develop in our ability to handle this more. We can be our own thermostat. We really can. So develop in your ability to manage stress. Even start seeing things from maybe a different point of view might be very helpful. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and our stressful seasons won't last forever. This is a truth I want you to remember, that if you're going through a hard time or you're in a season where you feel like you are in a pit of despair, I want to let you know that there's light at the end of that tunnel, and it's not a train. There's light at the end of that tunnel, and you will get through it. I want you to ask yourself, when you find yourself in those places, like, what if this time I didn't give up? What if this time I kept going and I pushed through this really hard thing? Like, you're worth that, and you're worth that work, guys. You really are. But know that those low points and those stressful points and things like that, they won't last forever. They will let up. Sometimes it's like being thrown in the ocean. If you ride the waves, maybe they'll bring you to shore, right? But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope in this. It just, like I say all the time, if we're intentional about it, it'll improve. You can improve anything in your life that you put your hands to. So if you're finding yourself in a stressful and maybe a consistent stressful place, or maybe struggling with anxiety or anything like that, I want you to know that if you consistently work on it, you will see progress in it, and you're worth the work of working on it. Number 3 on here, I want to remind you to surround yourself with peace. Surround yourself as often as possible with peaceful things. These are your nouns, your people, places, and things. The most peaceful people that bring stability and light and love to your life. Surround yourself with them as often as possible, because there's enough things and people out there that's trying to suck you dry with the crazy straw. Let's just be honest. And sometimes our boundaries might not be the best right now that we can combat that. However, we owe it to ourselves to show up for ourselves by advocating for ourselves and saying what we're going to do, what we can do today. And I want to also encourage you, we live in such a culture of the above and beyond is so celebrated, and like, you know, yeah, she did this, she came in and gave above and beyond, and it's so celebrated in our culture, guys. It really is. I want to encourage you though, when you're going through a season of stress and anxiety and overwhelmed, and you're trying to work on yourself, sometimes just doing the standard is okay. And it's nothing about you or anything else, but sometimes just doing the standard is okay. Of this is what I'm expecting of myself, and that's okay. So if you're one that either like, I am pass, fail, I am all in or all out, and stressed out and all this stuff, I want to encourage you, there's a lot of room in there. There's a lot of room in there of meeting yourself where you are and saying what you can do today, and a lot of freedom in being able to complete the things that you said you were going to do that day, and build that self-trust, so that when you're stressed and when life starts to happen and when things start hitting the fan, right, which is going to be consistently most of our lives of things going on, right, but we get to say how we receive it and how we respond to it. And this is what it's really all about, and why we focus on our 4 main things and staying in control of the things that we can control, because who knows, there's so much out there that we can't. But what you can control is what you put in your mouth, what you do with your body, what you think with your thoughts, how you show up for yourself, friends. Come on, that's all we can control. So I want to encourage you guys to control your controllables, to do your best for yourself, and to meet yourself where you are every single day, so that you don't feel like a stressed, anxious mess when you're doing this really hard thing of trying to figure out how to take care of yourself better, or learning new habits, or breaking through mindsets or self-sabotaging tendencies, okay? Life is hard enough. We don't have to do it alone, and we don't have to do it overwhelmed. So meet yourself where you are, friends, and I'm so grateful that you were here today and that you heard this message. I hope that it falls on the ears that needed to hear it, and we see some results in our life, guys. And remember, you can improve on anything that you are intentional about. Stress is one of those things. Man, take that challenge for yourself of what can I do to start taking back and making some action steps in this area of my life. So I want to encourage you guys to do the work. You're worth it. Reach out if you need any support at all. We'll be back next week with a brand new podcast episode. Fun things we're doing through the summer, popping up with different things. There'll be features, there'll be workshops, or just random topics that I just have on my heart, right? So I love you guys. Have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. And what if this time you didn't give up?